welcome back. Joining us for our second conversation, we have the folks from the Belize Social Investment Fund. Joining us in studio, we have Social Development Officer Kendra Butler. Good morning. And Senior Procurement Officer Ms. Angelis Itzab. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Let's talk about the Belize Social Investment Fund. Just for our viewers' sake, what do you represent?
Okay, so the Belize Social Investment Fund was established in 1996, and we implement small infrastructure and social programs throughout the country of Belize, mainly in focusing in the education sector, the social sector, water and sanitation, and health. And so we've been implementing, over 700 projects countrywide, and we're here to ensure that our communities achieve their basic needs. So that's the focus.
That's the focus of the statutory body itself. Let's get into how these projects are acquired and how you're able to manage them, all 700 projects.
So, well, the Belize Social Investment Fund received funding from several IFIs, and it's based on either loans or grants from the government of Belize, and we implement on behalf of the government of Belize. And so we have the Caribbean Development Bank, which is one of our main funders, which can be from a loan or grant. So we have the Basic Needs Trust Fund, which provides several grants to communities for basic infrastructure, so water and sanitation. So you would see us having a lot of water systems, implementing water systems, or building schools, preschools, primary schools, and as well as health facilities.
Yeah. I ask because, we're just in the Belize Valley, this weekend, and when we're talking to community members, these are some of the needs that they have. So how do you go about, selecting areas or, putting these projects into play?
Okay, well, the Belize Social Investment Fund has what we would call like a project application online on our website. So the communities would, if they feel like there is a specific need that they have in their village, they can fill out this application and they can submit it to us, and it's something that the board of directors would put together, and whenever we have any funding available, for example, from CDB, like Ms. Kendra had explained, they have very a criteria or a list of things that they would want to see implemented. So if it falls within what that particular IFI wants to provide for us, then those are the projects that are moved forward into what the board would decide if this is something that is important or is critical for them in that community, and then that's how projects would get approved.
Talk to us about the upcoming Contractor Forum. What is that all about, and perhaps who are the publics that you guys are catering to?
Well, primarily we want to cater to contractors, and this would be people that can do any type of infrastructure works as well as the implementation of water systems. We really want to encourage small contractors to be a part of the process that SIF has to offer. Like Ms. Kendra said, we have implemented over 700 projects, and we don't want contractors to feel like, it's only a small portion of people that are always getting these contracts. So the Contractors Forum is for them to learn about the processes that comes for the bidding, so that they can submit their bids and, be able to be eligible for these projects that we have to offer.
When you look at perhaps the existing pool of contractors who do work for SIF, for instance, is it that perhaps it is small and you're looking to expand the number of persons who want to get in on these kinds of works?
Yes, it is small, and it's primarily because we believe that the contractors that are out there are not informed as to what are the requirements for them. So they would probably see a bid come up on Facebook, on the newspaper, and they're not aware of everything, and they just decide not to apply for it. So what we want is for them to get this opportunity to know exactly what it is that we require from them, so that they can have that equal opportunity as the other contractors. Because other contractors that have been getting these contracts, they already have that knowledge of the process and everything, so it comes easy for them. And this forum, is free. So they are not going to be really having any expenses for them to just come and learn. And they will also have the opportunity to buy, because we have a lot of projects in the pipeline that we would really want to be spread across the country, the contracts for them to be able to obtain it, yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, it's interesting you've mentioned that perhaps bids are often put out there, you know, for tender, and persons who are in the field, for instance, maybe they've had years of doing this kind of work, but they may not necessarily know all the technical requirements for bidding successfully. So you have a lot of perhaps small contractors who are very knowledgeable in that field, but they don't have either someone who's able to guide them through the process of how to go about putting together either your CV, your portfolio, or whatever requirements are there that would make your submission equally as viable as the next person who is a frequent face, if I could use that description. Is this to say that perhaps this is the start of that kind of a thing where you're trying to get persons who may not be technically savvy for say, well, we are sitting and fill out all of the forms and send in everything. Yeah. Is this where we're going?
Yes, that is exactly what we're aiming to achieve with this forum, because we've had some projects in the past where we have people and we see them because we pass by and we see that they're doing this work, they're putting up houses, they're putting up buildings, but we don't see them when it comes to them submitting bids. So we've approached several of them. We've had a survey that was out maybe like a month ago, in which we sent it to everybody, any contacts that we got, we sent it and we said, what is it that you're looking for from SIF? What is it? What are the areas that you find difficulty with? What is it that you don't understand? And from that information is where we put together the forum. We're going to be focusing on several areas that we know are of trouble or that contractors might have difficulty understanding when it comes to preparing their bids.
I noticed that you have 2 sessions with the same information, one in the north and one in Belize City. Talk to us about these locations and your target market.
So what we're trying to do, we want to ensure we're going to the contractors, because we know we have contractors countrywide. And so we are going to them. We're starting a series. So we're starting in the north. And so we have our first forum in Corozal, San Roman. And so it's right in the middle of Corozal and Orange Walk. So we're catering to those contractors there in the northern region. That's on the 21st, so that's this Thursday at 8:30. And then the second Contractors Forum will be the 26th of March in Belize City. And so we're catering to those contractors in the central areas, so Belize or maybe Bancayo, and then we'll continue on from there. So what we're trying to ensure that all our contractors are aware of the upcoming projects that SIF have, and to let them know that, you know, it's a fair process, and that we want their contribution. After all, the goal of our projects is to ensure that our communities are benefit from the basic needs. So, you know, and so we want their participation, we want their collaboration, we want to work with them. And so we're encouraging.
It would be easier as well if you have contractors countrywide and there is a project in, let's say, Blue Creek or San Felipe in Orange Walk. You can have these contractors from there. You don't have to, you know, solicit contractors from Central Belize and so on.
Yeah, exactly, because we actually have some upcoming projects, mainly in water and sanitations, that would be countrywide. And so we can't have, you know, we don't want to pick from one small amount of contractors, and, you know, they will be we have select communities, you know, from Corozal to Toledo, and so we want to ensure that, you know, again, it's a fair process and everybody is able to bid. Well, all contractors are.
Can you speak a little bit about the process, the application process for contractors?
For bidding?
Yes.
Yes. Well, usually the process is a 9-step process when it comes to awarding a contract.
9 steps?
Yes. But we would get more into that during the forum.
Right.
But basically, we would put out the advertisement. It would be out for at least 4 weeks in the newspaper. This is where we put out basic information about what is the scope of works, the deadline, and the cost of the bidding documents. So if a contractor is interested, we would usually charge them a fee of $50 so that they can purchase the full set of bidding documents, which would include all the forms that they need to fill out, all the requirements. It would give them a breakdown of the evaluation criteria that would go into evaluating their bids. And after that, on the deadline, we have what would be the pre-bid meeting before the submission deadline, and that will usually take place on site, and this would give contractors the time to actually go and see how far it would be, where exactly is the place, what exactly they have to do, so that they can get a better idea of how they're going to be at pricing for when it comes to transporting materials, when it comes to setting up their office and all of that. And then after the pre-bid meeting would be the bid submission deadline, where they would submit their bids with their prices, and we do the preliminary evaluation. The evaluation committee would go in depth and take a look at the technical aspect of it, the financial aspect of their bids, and then we would recommend a award for contract.
Okay.
Yes.
So that, I'm assuming a timeline would be between 2 to 3 months?
3 months.
3
3 months is the most we would take to award a contract. Yes.
Wow. And for your own knowledge, or if you can speak to us a little bit about what you have already in the pipeline when it comes to your contractors, or the type of projects that you have right now going on at SIF.
Right now, in the near future, that we would be immediately talking about would be the projects under the Basic Needs Trust Fund 10 project, which we would be looking at the rehabilitation of a primary school in Santa Elena. We have a primary school and a preschool that is going to be getting built in Santa Cruz in Orange Walk. We also have the rehabilitation of the IT vet in Toledo, Sand Creek District, in the Sand Creek District. And we also have 2 water projects, one in Mabilha and Mafredai. And currently, right now, we also will be having the rehabilitation of the Gales Point. But in terms of what have already been done would be the Gales Point and the 2 water projects, but the rest of them would be open for tender very soon. Wonderful. And then Ms. Kendra, maybe we can speak towards the SIF 4.
Yes, so well, for the SIF 4, we also have one social services project coming up, and we also have a water system. So most of the water sector and the social service sector. But I want to touch on the IDB, the Inter-American Development. So we are implementing several water systems countrywide, and so these are approved communities that will be receiving water and disinfection systems. And so that's going to be a lot of contracts in terms of providing water systems to those communities. So contractors who have that experience or that skill can look out for that opportunity soon.
And can contractors at the forum begin the application process right then and there? Is it just an information forum?
It's mainly an information forum. Like Kendra had been mentioned, we receive grants or financing from various financial institutions such as CDB, IDB, World Bank, and CDF. So we have to follow their procurement guidelines for each of them. So when it comes to the IDB projects, they have their own set of procurement guidelines. When it comes to CDB, they have their own set of procurement guidelines. So the forum is just to basically orient the contractors on what would be the general expectations for each of these bidding processes.
Okay, yes. Wonderful. In terms of, kind of just for our audience again one more time, when, where, how can they, when I say where, building and everything, and how can they reach out for more information? Okay,
so again, the Contractors Forum, we have the first one on the 21st of March. That will be in San Roman, La Escuela, Mexico High School conference room. That will be from 8:30 to 2 p.m. And then the second one is on the 26th of March at Biltmore Plaza, Belize. And so we are encouraging you guys, the contractors, to register. We have a QR code and a link online on our Facebook page, so we encourage the contractors to register for that.
Okay. And it's free of cost?
Yes, it is free of cost.
Nice.
Wonderful. I want to thank you ladies so much. Final words for our viewers before we wrap up our segment this morning.
We just want to encourage contractors again to please register. It's free. You don't lose anything. The QR code is right there, and the most contractors we have to assist, then the better for the projects for Belize.
Exactly.
I know that we said we're wrapping up, but I did want to ask in terms of a question that Isani had mentioned about the layout of the application form. If you're assisting, if you're alluding for contractors in the north or in the south, is there like language barriers? Are you going to be able to have these forms in both English and Spanish?
Well, the one for Escola Mexico, which is this Thursday, is catered mostly for the contractors there in the north. So we would be having explanations if needed in Spanish.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. I completely forgot about that. Thank you, ladies, so much for tuning in, for dropping by, sorry, and best of luck. The BCIF Contractors Forum on day 1 begins this Thursday in San Román Corozal at 8:30 a.m. Thank you, ladies, once again.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's all about Pat Light and their scholarship opportunities. Don't go away.